All right, we are a go. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful, absolutely amazing.
The storm going on out there. I don't know if you can see it through the. I guess
Yeah,
you
it's
have it too.
storming pretty good here. So today we've got a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to be leading this webinar. My name's Keith. I'm Director of Sales here at ChainBytes. We have Eric Grill, the CEO, and we have Amzi here. He is our sales associate. And we will be talking about everything you can possibly ask us about Bitcoin ATMs, our Bitcoin ATMs, the ChainBytes Model V, the new model to our fleet. And we'll definitely be talking a lot about this model because we're really excited about it. And we'll also dive into AI. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I got a couple listed questions here. If anybody watching this has any questions, drop a question in the webinar. Get forwarded to me, and I'll answer your question, or I'll have Eric or Angie answer your question. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started here. The first question is: we see Bitcoin skyrocketing. How does this impact the businesses? And I'm guessing that there's more interest in starting a Bitcoin ATM business now.
Well, fear of missing out is always stronger than the other way. You would think when Bitcoin goes down, it's the time to build. But yes, of course, Bitcoin now. Actually, today's for the first time it closed over 100,000. So the market just closed a couple minutes ago, and it closed over 100,000. And who knows where we go from here? But yeah, when things like this happen, we've been through these cycles many, many times before. There's lots of interest at the machines, for the machines in general, towards the entire industry. And I think also some regulatory clarity. Some things are going to loosen up, which actually makes things a lot easier to do this business as well.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. And I get a lot of guys that are contacting me right now that I spoke to in the past that were waiting for the regulatory clarity. They're like, let's see what happens after the election. We'll know which direction things are going because I don't know what I'm going to do. And now they know. So yeah, it seems like I've been getting a lot more phone calls, especially from people that I was talking to before.
Yeah,
How
it's
about
hard
you,
to tell
Andy?
if it's because it's 100,000 or people. It's the end of the year. It's a whole lot of things coming together. So
Well,
still looking good.
since I've come into the Bitcoin ATM business, it's gone up quite a lot. And the thing is, people buying back then, and if they held their Bitcoin, they'd probably be buying their own Bitcoin ATM business right now.
Well, that's true too. We get a lot of those people as well that have been holding Bitcoin for a while. And like, maybe I should start a business. And yeah.
All right, so I have a question here for AMZ.
Sure.
Would you say it's currently a typical operator? Oh, wait. Oh, who would you say is currently a typical operator? Is it more interest from people who want to do just a couple machine operation or more of a serious enterprise fleet operation?
Absolutely. So we get queries from all sorts of different customers who want to start with 2 or 3 machines as well as a free fleet operator. But the long-term data suggests that the more number of machines that you have in the market, you're able to sustain yourself much better. So the operators who have a fleet have a higher probability of knowing what location to put their machine on, as well as a higher probability of generating more revenue. So in long term, what we have observed is the fleet operators who are able to sustain themselves. But we have also seen the people who are starting with like 2 or 3 machines and going on and creating their own fleet of machines as well. But yeah, sorry. So basically, that was my answer. So fleet operators for the long term gets the
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always liken it to putting all your eggs in one basket. You put one machine out there, you're just focusing everything on one location, one machine, one demographic of people, one population of people. Whereas if you try a couple things, at least try a couple things,
Yeah.
because you might fail to your locations because you're just getting started, and your third location is going to take off and pay for everything. So then you're not starting from scratch right at the end.
And he's
Absolutely.
not
And you
just saying
throw,
that.
yeah.
They're not just saying
Sorry,
that.
Eric.
So we've seen in the past. In fact, we put a three machine minimum in place because we saw people failing over and over again. They had one machine, they didn't know what they're doing. They put it out there, nothing worked. They didn't they didn't do any of the things they needed to do. It failed. And so we didn't want to see people fail. We wanted people that were serious in the market. And so that's why we sort of moved toward that. Now we see where people, they want to try one machine and sort of get it started and ramp it up and things like that. But it is tough. One machine is not going to tell you. That's that you're gambling. You're gambling because I put machines out today in another company, and you're never 100% sure that location is going to work. And man, I thought that was a home run. There's no doubt. And nothing. And some locations which were thought they'd do pretty well did fantastic. And we really have never been able to figure out exactly the formula for finding a good location. We know it, but it is not 100% for sure.
Yeah, we know what definitely works and what doesn't work in the actual location, but it really is when you find a new location, you don't know whether it's going to work or not. And so it is a gamble and that's why you have to spread across a couple locations, and if you're not putting all your eggs in the one basket, it's really important, and that's why
You got to
large operators do well.
Diversifying, even putting one in different city and stuff like that. You don't want to spread yourself out too thin, especially in the beginning, but you definitely want to diversify and get a feel for your market. And if there's already machines out there, that might help you, but I think we're getting off track. Let's continue.
So this question is for you, Eric. We've got with the interest in blockchain, Bitcoin, we now see the rise of AI. How did this change the industry, and are there any AI features that are coming to the industry? We know that you have route collections and scam busters now as options.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things we obviously use to assist us in what's the traveling salesperson problem. When you're picking up cash, what's the best route to pick up the cash efficiently, the cost, et cetera? AI is doing that, right? So now it knows the routes, it knows how much money is in the machines, it's able to calculate all that. And then, of course, on the regulatory side, we have AML, KYC, but what we see in this industry is like the gift card industry scams. So we can use AI to identify scams. They're usually they're fairly easy to identify. Human beings can do it, so the AI can assist in doing that. So we use those tools to help us identify fraud as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like having an employee sitting there working for you, except you don't have an employee sitting there working for you. You don't have to pay for their health insurance and overtime. They're working 24/7.
Yep, and they're doing the reports for you. So, if there is something, so, then, obviously that can flag it, and then a compliance officer, which may have otherwise missed something in there, it's able to identify it. Or, what we found is the AI is able to identify anomalies that we may miss altogether. There's little things that, especially when it comes to scams, right? Because scams come in waves. So all of a sudden it's this scam for a while, and then another one, and so it can start seeing those patterns emerge before we can. So it's been very helpful in identifying them.
So do all these machines have the AI features?
Yeah, I think we just, it's all built in. And I don't know anyone that's on an older version that wouldn't have it, so it should be on
there. All right.
Yeah, it's a relatively new one. Not sure what version we put it out on, but it's, yeah, it's out there.
So this question is for either one of you guys. When we talk about machines at ChainBytes, right now we offer two types of machines: the universal model that's upgradable with a top screen, and the new ChainBytes V or the ChainBytes 5 model. And that's created a significant buzz in the market, being that it is the best priced two-way Bitcoin ATM machine. So how'd you come up with the $4,999 for the new ChainBytes V model?
Well, we were able to get it. There's less material there, so the case itself is cheaper. We didn't really go cheap on any of the equipment on the inside. That's pretty much exactly the same thing as all the other models, but the amount of metal that we needed to use and just the look, it's all glass in the front and smaller footprint. We were able to reduce the cost significantly and still maintain security and all the features of the other ones. The only thing it can't do is the top screen. Really, other than that, it does everything. And even that, in theory, you could attach another screen to it, but I just don't think that would look good on that machine. That machine's pretty much, it looks good standalone the way it is.
Yeah, I like the machine because it's got a smaller footprint. It's more compact, like you said, so there's less material. The only negative is you can't really put a top screen on that one. And so being that it's a little bit shorter, it's a little harder to see inside a location. So some locations, most locations it works great in, but some locations you need to stick out at. Then the top screen model, the ChainBytes Universal, is definitely the way to go. But they're both two-way models.
Yeah.
But we've also had locations where they didn't have you didn't have the space, the ceiling space even, so that would have been perfect for those locations. So that was really what got started. Like, hey, we need something that is like that, and so that fit the mold. And we had tried really small machines, but then you have a security issue. Like the smaller, people just walk off with them. So these machines are still big enough, sturdy enough. You can bolt them into the floor. They're metal, they're steel. They're not going to go anywhere. So I think that it
They're
fits
pretty
all.
heavy.
Yeah, they're very heavy.
All right. So for now, this next question is for either one of you guys. You offer a special discount on larger purchases. We'll make this for Angie. You have a special discount on larger purchases that's kind of unbeatable in price. How much is the package for 30 machines? And why did you decide to offer this package? What is the advantage of having 30 machines over 2 machines?
Absolutely. So, as we discussed before, having a larger fleet is always going to help you because your first 6 months in the business is going to be data driven. You would be understanding what demographics and what area works best for your machine. So, having a larger fleet is definitely going to assist you in answering those questions. Now, going back to what kind of a discount that we offer 12% discount on a large fleet of machines. So, this 12%, the reason why we are able to do it is because we have a special partnership where the machines are manufactured under ChainByte license, and that's why we are able to get this special prices for our customers because we are going to bunch ordering the machine at a larger quantity. So the discount that we get from our manufacturing unit is the discount that we are able to transfer to our customer because their win is our win in this business. So yeah, we are doing everything which we can to assist them. Yeah.
What's the number though? With you said there's a discount. What is it? What does that come to? So to get started with a batch of 30 machines, what's their cost?
So,
So
well, it'd be a 12% discount.
Yeah, I know. So what's the total? Roughly, what's the total for 30?
For 30, I'd have to do some math here real quick.
30, what are we talking about? Like ChainByte V, or we are talking about Universal?
The new one.
We're
No,
we're talking about the V right now. So
Oh, so the 5,000.
so like
So
150,000 minus the 12.
so I mean, each machine in 30 gets like a $500 worth of discount approximately. So normally they have $5,000. They're the price excluding the shipping. So when you get discount on the 30, so each machine costs like $4,500 approximately. So
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
huge
But
win, like $500 per
people are
machine.
listening. They want to know what it's going to take to get started. So you're throwing a lot of numbers around. Bottom line, what's it going to take to get started?
I
Yeah,
mean, to get started, I mean, in terms of discount, that would be a $15,000 worth of discount on 30 machines. So the total cost of the machine would be $134,970. That is going to be a discounted price. So that is, yeah, minus.
you're
30 machines.
basically
So,
Okay, so
you're getting
that's a
three
pretty
and a
good.
half machines for free.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like an $18,000 discount on 30 machines. Six
Yeah.
hundred
Do
bucks
we,
off.
and on top of the 12%, isn't there a compliance package with that as well, that they get the compliance goes with it?
Yeah.
Correct. So well, we have a relationship with a law firm, and what they do is for our clients, just our clients, it's $2,000 for a compliance program and to get licensed with FinCEN. Now that license, that is an MSB license, a money service business license, which is required in all 50 states. That's your bare minimum thing. You got to get started right in the beginning. You should get it started right away because it only takes about 2 weeks to get it going, and you can start operating as soon as you got that. So that doesn't matter who you're going through, you're going to need it.
Yeah.
And
And also, Keith, just to catch up on that, because you're talking about the compliance, the other important thing over here is we also get a policy letter which is specify your AML KYC policy. And you need this letter before making an appointment with the banks and everything. And this is a question that we always get from the operators, like, why should we go with you guys? Why should we have the machine first, then compliance? Why is this a specific order? This is a specific order is because when you put the machine in, we get you in touch with the law firm, which gets your papers and everything. And then when you have the machine with you, you have everything ready. So you just start with your operations.
Yeah,
All
there,
right.
there is
So
an order there. A lot of people want to skip ahead and get the bank account, and that's kind of like buying the car before you get your driver's license. Like, hold on, you need to get these things in order, and go through a process. And even then, banking's not easy. So, you need to show them that you understand what you're doing, not just, you got a piece of paper. Okay, yes, but you also need to be able to speak that language. So that'll be one of those things that you learn in the industry is sort of how that works, especially as a business owner.
So I got two audience questions here I want to ask and answer. The first question is, I'm new to this and would like to know how these machines actually run.
So from the back end, you have a dashboard. So this is just a web-based dashboard that you can see all your machines. Just if you're not in the ATM industry, it's similar to that. And then the machines themselves, they're out in the field. Somebody comes up to the machine. They say, "Hey, I want to buy Bitcoin," and it asks them how much they want to buy based on your AML policy that we were just talking about. If they need to provide additional information because it's a large purchase, they do that. They then scan their QR code of their Bitcoin address. If they don't have one, they can generate one there at the machine. They put their cash in the machine, and that's it. That's how they buy Bitcoin. Selling Bitcoin is a similar process. Bottom line is it's like a candy machine, and you have your margins baked in. So the difference here is that when they buy that candy bar, poof, another one shows up with that. Let's say he gave 10% discount in there, and so that's locked in. So you don't take any currency risk, like you said, because that dollar's sitting in the tray in the machine. So that's dead, right? So whatever happens with the price, it doesn't matter anymore because you've already bought back your supply. So that candy bar is back in the machine, ready to sell to the next customer at another premium and do the same thing over and over and over again, and you turn it that way. What he said is technically right. I mean, that's the actual process that happens. But just to simplify it, it's you're replacing your inventory with the premium baked in instantly with no currency risk.
Yeah, you want to maintain the same supply of Bitcoin at all times, and so we have that's in the dashboard. It's on the front end is where the customer is interacting with it. That's on the actual machine. The dashboard is on your computer, your laptop, wherever your office is, and it's all automated. So it just works. Okay, you're not sitting there now. What you do have to do is once your hot wallet is completed, you sweep over your Bitcoin from your exchange into your hot wallet. So your hot wallet is kind of like your gas tank to keep your operation going. You don't keep it filled with all your Bitcoin, just enough to keep the operation flowing. Got another question here. New to the industry, but not to Bitcoin. What is the best way to acquire locations, and is it worth it to start with just 5 machines?
Yes, I'd say 5 machines is a good starting point. That gives you a good idea. As far as finding locations, that's pretty easy. A lot of people maybe never have done this before, but you just walk into a store, you talk to the business owner. Typically, the types of places, gas stations, the business owner is working in the store, and you're offering them money for 4 square feet on the floor. It's retail, so the business owners understand retail space. They have potato chips, they've got candy, they've got all this stuff in the store. Everything has a return on investment based on the square footage that he's paying in that area, and we're going to pay above that. And so usually we don't even go into the explanation of how it works. They just pay a monthly fee, and that's it. It's very straightforward. You don't have to make a deal with some big company to get 20 locations in one shot. You can literally get in your car, drive around, find some places that don't have one, and talk to them.
And what is the normal amount of rent that you offer a location?
That's all over. It depends on the area, location, and the competition in the area. So you'll probably run into a few, and you'll find out sort of how much they are. I think you know it's in this area we start at 250, but we pay a lot more for locations that really do well. Um, yeah.
Yeah, rule of thumb is you'll pay more when the landlord sees the machines turning in a lot of cash, and they say, "Hey, you got to pay up," and then that's when it comes time to
Yeah.
negotiating a higher rent.
There is no hiding that. That's true. They see it. They're like, "Whoa, look at that! That guy's over there. He's been loading cash in there for a while. What's going on?" And then that's when you get the phone. I was like, "Yeah, I think the machine's doing well. I want a bigger cut." And then you look and you're like, "Oh yeah, all right, yes."
So when it comes to the 5 machines that he mentioned here in the for our customers here in the United States, what kind of deal do we offer for that, Amzi?
For 5 machines, we basically charge for your V machine. That would be $5,000 into five, so that would be $25,000. And the compliance side, we would offer you discount of $2,000. That would be $27,000 of package plus $5,000 would be the cost of delivery. So that would be $32,000 ready to go, and you can start with your business with that much hardware and the cost. So that would be the cost from our side.
Perfect. He's
So
got his
32,
calculator ready this time.
wait, yeah, I was gonna say 32,000 all in to start with 5 machines with your compliance and everything you need to start. That's it, right? Delivered. Sweet. Good.
So registrations and KYC compliance and other legal requirements. Now, when it comes to here in the United States, all 50 states, you have to have a compliance program. You have to be licensed with FinCEN. That's on the federal level. But every state is different. So, you're going to have to do your own research. And we recommend that you speak to a lawyer, when it comes to, if you need a money transmitter license or if there's some special regulation within your state.
Well, there's opinion letters out there that are pretty, you can tell right now what you need to do. So if you just Google Bitcoin ATM operator, put the state in and ask if there's a lot of law firms that have put out these lists, including the one that we work with, saying, okay, this state has already stated we're not regulating them, or we are regulating them and this is going to be requirements and we need an MSB license. So it's not we just can't give legal advice, but it's out there. So you can look it up. And like you said, you should talk to an attorney and actually get legal advice in the state that you're going to operate in. But there is clarity there now in almost every state. Some states are kind of fuzzy in what they make it. Like DC has some weird stuff going on, but aside from that, it's all pretty clear.
Same with California. I got another audience question here.
That's just hard to comply with.
Yeah. Another audience question here. Thank you so much for answering my question. I'm from the UK and wondered whether you guys would think it's profitable, and do you know anyone from the UK who owns one of these machines already?
Yeah, so UK actually was one of the most proactive countries early on with their financial services, their banking regulations. So definitely doable there. I do know some operators over there. So yeah, I don't think the market is maybe as good in the United States because it's simply easier to get Bitcoin there, but there's certainly a big market there, and if you create an infrastructure, you can definitely make money there.
All right,
And it's easier. Banking's easier, the regulatory, all the other stuff is easier. So it is actually easier to operate there. It's just you're not going to make as much money, but I guess that's why, right? It's harder to operate here, so you make more money.
So this question I can actually answer. It's talking about security and our hardware and getting into these machines. I'll talk about the actual physical security of the machine. So I have attempted to break into a machine to extract the cash from the machine out of the safe. It took me months of attempting to pick locks and trying to find a weakness to get into it without actually damaging the machine. I ended up, having to literally destroy the machine to get the cash box out, and I ended up getting a black eye out of it all. So the machine, the machine ended kicking my butt. But that took quite a long time, and so it's not something that somebody can get into at a location. You got that thing bolted down, definitely not.
We have a video somewhere of one of our machines being robbed. The guy had snuck into the store, stayed there. The store closed. The police came, walked around the store. The guy was hiding. They left, and he went back, and he had all these tools, and nothing was working. Finally, he was prying the front out, and the funny thing is, there was really no money in there. They had just emptied it earlier that day, so he didn't even get anything worthwhile. So we don't see it very often, but it was fun to watch because it's like, oh, he can't get in there. And it was hours went by, and he's trying, he's not giving up, and eventually he pulled the metal in the front by the recycler. I don't think he got anything out of it, but he destroyed the machine. He tried to get in the front. He did everything, but
so
we had another machine get actually. We had a machine take a bullet.
and one of the things that I love that we have on, I tell all my operators, get these on your machines, makes them more secure. Is the S&G locks. They really do. They're built into the safe and everything, and that extra layer of security is worth the a couple bucks to get one installed. And it's cheaper to get it installed at the factory than it is to have a locksmith do it. So if you hire a locksmith and you buy the locks and you do it yourself, it's more expensive. So
Yeah.
you
And a
know, it's
lot of them
better.
tell you they won't do it. You know, you got to find a locksmith that'll do it because it's metal
It'll
and they
actually
don't.
show up too.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I ended up breaking into the safe was, I talked to a bunch of locksmiths about getting into the safe, and months and months went by, and I'm sitting there and I was like, all right, well, if it's this hard to get a locksmith to break into a safe, it's just hard to get them to put a lock back on. Hold on one moment here. And you can read about how to secure the machines. It's on articles on our website. Now, as for cash logistics, what do you guys do for cash logistics? Do you outsource it? Can you outsource it? Do you do it yourself? What should people look into doing?
So Keith, I can answer it. Right. So what happens over here is it depends on how many machines you have. If you have one or two machines, maybe you can do the cash management yourself. But if you're a fleet operation operator, you need to automate these things. So you should be looking to partner with Gerda or Loomis or any kind of armored car services who would come and pick the cash on behalf of you and would deliver it safely to the bank where all the entire cash and every entire process is insured and yeah, risk proof. So yeah, and they just take the cash and deposit in your bank vault. So that's what I think should be the strategy for one or two machines or three machines. It's still manageable. Maybe Eric can throw more light on that because he has a hands-on experience in operation of the machines.
Yeah, I mean, so the armor car service is going to depend on the bank that you use. Each bank has their own vaulting process, or depending on the location you're at, you'll have different ones, but they all use the same, like a Wells Fargo vault or Bank of America vault. So there'll be different armor car services that you can use in that area, but your bank probably already has relationships, and that's who you want to use. So don't go talking to armor car service until you've already got the banking. Don't talk to the banking until you've already got the compliance. So it's sort of that: get your compliance, talk to banking, and then the banking already has armor car service relationships. They'll connect you to them, and then that's what Keith mentioned about the S&G locks. You need the S&G locks for them to be able to service your machine. They won't service them with individual locks. So I just tell you should get them. If you think you're going to really expand, you really need to get the S&G locks in there. Nobody's even getting the other ones anymore. They used to. People used to do that, but not anymore. I
Yeah.
can't remember the last time.
Yeah, I always push them away. I'm like, just get the locks. So
Yeah.
Yeah, because
now,
and then the ones that they always come back to us and they're like, "Oh, how do we put this on?" And we give them the instructions, but then they have to find a lot. It's not worth it. Just do it.
so I
Do it
got
up front.
another audience question here. Do you have the general ROI, return on investment numbers for these machines? I'll go ahead and answer this one. So it depends upon your locations, obviously. This is why you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because you're really getting data just from one location. That's why I have a couple locations, but usually averages about 3 to 6 months to get an ROI across your fleet. Now, sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes we've seen our locations at the 12-month mark. We're ready to pull them, and they start taking off then. And then those end up being some of our best locations. In other cases, I've seen them start right away, like in the first 2 weeks, and they within a month they saw a return on their investment. So it depends upon the location. It depends upon your marketing, and we'll get into marketing here because that's important. Population centers. You don't want a machine out in the middle of nowhere where nobody lives. If there's more cows than people, that's a bad place to put a Bitcoin ATM. And you know,
Sometimes.
well,
Most
but
of the time.
yeah, most of the time. But like in that case, like I was talking to a fellow up in New Hampshire recently, and they've got a much smaller population than we do here in Metro Philadelphia. I mean, we've got the metro area has 6 times the whole population of New Hampshire. Now, will 10 Bitcoin ATMs fit in his town? Absolutely not. It's a one Bitcoin ATM town. There's no Bitcoin ATM there. Yeah, this is the place to put one. And you can put one up against your competition because it's good to have some competition. And that's another thing is, your competition isn't going to limit you to your opportunities because where you thrive is, marketing, pulling in those customers, but customer service and having Bitcoin available. Can't tell you how many Bitcoin ATMs I go up to. And this is it's literally got to be 9 out of 10 Bitcoin ATMs I've walked up to in the past 4 or 5 years. They're not even on. They're turned off, or it says, please call this phone number out of service. So when you look at the big guys that you're competing against, they're not really competition because they're not even turned on. So, you've got an opportunity
But
there. You might be across the street. Their machine doesn't work. Don't not deploy a machine because there's another machine in town.
But to sort of answer his question, what's the profit potential? What's the ROI? Everything like that. So what we look at is 6 months. If you put a machine there and haven't gotten and it's not doing well enough to have gotten your money back on that machine in 6 months, that location is probably not doing that well, and you probably don't have a good location. And that's a good way to sort of gauge that. Did I make my money back yet in 6 months? And if not, that's not a good location. Put it somewhere else. Or you just haven't ramped it up. You haven't gotten the marketing, especially your first couple of machines. You're not going to do it perfectly, so it's going to take you a little longer. But in general, in 3 months, you should see some good activity on that machine, and you should see sort of that up into the right hockey stick. And then within 6 months, if that's the case, sort of the gauge you should use is cover your costs in 6 months.
Yeah. So what is the
You do
what
it
is
more than that.
usually
Like you
the
said, I've put machines in one day and the machine was off the hook. And I got my money back the first day, and I've had other machines where nobody touched it for 2 months. And that's the nature of the business.
we an audience member asked here, can you tell how much profit potential there is in this business? How much can I make per machine? And really, like, the answer is, you're looking at a percentage of your, the total amount of cash that's going through your machine. And so depending upon what you're charging, you're looking at like 16, 20%. Then you gotta subtract your, rent, your compliance cost, and the cost of banking and whatnot. And then you've got your profit. So that depends, that varies business to business. Some businesses are more liberal and paying a lot more money to have less headache. Other businesses are like, you know what, I can do that myself. And I'm gonna save that money, and that money's coming back to me because I take that money and I put it right into Bitcoin because I'm, like, I need as much Bitcoin as possible because Bitcoin is the fuel of your operation. So it really depends upon the business, but you're looking at, like, like the average is, somewhere between 16 to 20%. Another audience question: how much maintenance of the machines is required?
Almost nothing. I
Uh,
mean, you want to wipe your screen, keep it clean. So it's more of cleaning it for customers. The maintenance on the machine, you're gonna have to replace the paper probably, I don't know, once every 3 months. Well, if you got to replace it more often, you'll know. That's good. That's a good problem. That means a lot of people use the machine. That's a good gauge as well. Aside from that, everything else is plug and play. The recycler, if you do a lot of I think how many millions of bills go through it? 6 million bills or something, and you get it refurbished, which is $200. You can overnight it, get it done. They'll send you a loaner and kind of swap it out, and that happens once every couple of years. That's it. Am
Yeah.
I missing something? What else is there?
Yeah, there's only two moving parts. There's the recycler, and if that needs refurbished, you've made so much money off that machine already that you probably got a couple of these things laying around. And then there's the printer, and the printer very rarely ever has issues. And anytime that it's ever been replaced by my customers, it turns out it wasn't the printer actually broken. It was because there was, like you said, maintenance. And the maintenance is you're in high foot traffic location at a gas station. All this road dust is coming in and everything. If you're not constantly wiping that down, constantly, as in once a month, go in there, wipe it down, blow some air duster around, make sure it's nice and clean. One, because you want your customers to feel like it's a clean machine to use, but two, that dust accumulates and it'll get in there, and it gets in the printer, and then the printer sensor will start saying, "Oh, it's not going to work." All it needs is
The
to be
jam.
done.
It thinks there's a jam. There's a little
Yeah,
light sensor, and so it thinks there's
yeah.
a jam.
So
We've
sometimes
had them in
all
laundromats where like there's lint built up inside there, and like, okay, that's we need to clean that.
Yeah, so it's just like any other computer. You got to keep it dusted, and so have a couple cans of air duster laying around, and you'll be good to go. Other than that, there's everything else is pretty regularly available at any computer store, any Best Buy, like And
We take
it's
care of all the software maintenance, all the updates, everything like that happens automatically. You don't have to take care of any of that. We do it. We'll let you know if there's any downtime. There's almost never downtime when we have to do those things. You won't even know what happened. It'll just be new features or something. So we'll just let you know.
This year, I was just told this year we had 0 downtime in 2024.
Dude, we're not done yet. Like, what are you doing? There's a big storm coming through, and you're talking no downtime. Nah, we're good.
So,
So what sort of marketing is recommended? Well, that is a good question. That's a whole. I think we've had whole seminar webinars on this topic. Local marketing, traditional local marketing, signage, having signs, letting people know that it's there. Then they hear about it on TV. Like now they saw, oh, Bitcoin's over $100,000. Where do I buy it? Well, I've been driving by this sign every day. I know I can buy it in the store, and that's, I would say, the majority of the traffic we get at our machines is people like that just driving by and seeing there's a sign. So we put neon signs, we put outside signage, we put any kind of crazy signage that we can put in a property. That's sort of our criteria of when we're finding locations is, hey, can we put a projector up on the thing and black, those sort of things. Can we do that? Or dancing guy. We have a blow up, what are the dancing,
a tube
what do they
man.
call those? Yeah, the tube man, the down, and the shop owners love it. So by the way, if you're going around and saying, "Hey, I want to, do this," and you tell them you're going to put a tube man outside, they love you because that's attracting people to their store as well. But obviously, you're saying there's Bitcoin here, but they realize the return on that as well. So there's a selling point if you want to grab some of
Yeah,
those.
and when you're finding these locations, one of the biggest selling points is being personable, being reachable. The landlords, they don't.
Local.
Yeah, I'm a local guy. Here's my phone number. You can call me anytime. If you have an issue with one of my customers, you need to contact me about rent or anything, give me a call, text. They love that because when they're dealing with the big guys, all they get is a cold shoulder. So, and you can even tell them, hey, I'm not like the big corporate guys. I'm a smaller guy, and I'll actually answer if you need it, if you got any concerns. They love that, and they'll work for you too. So, like when you build a relationship with these landlords, you've essentially got a salesperson there that's going to help a customer if they've got any problems at the machine. And why? Because
there was one thing that is a significant indicator of a success will be the store owner takes an interest. We have the best locations that we have. The store owner, we see them all the time on the video. You see them in there helping people at the store. Like, oh, show them how to do it. Yes, we have 24-hour support that people can call. We have all these things. But the guy at the store, they call the guy in the store. And then on the flip side of that, if he doesn't want to get engaged and the customer's bugging him, that becomes a problem. So that's why you have to have good communication with them because like, and that's not my machine. I don't want to be bothered with it. That's usually their reaction. And so if you can maybe give them some Bitcoin, show it how it works, it's amazing. The return on investment on that is astronomical because they will be your best salesman.
And they also tend to be the landlords that let you put a lot of outdoor signage. So why? Because they're looking for a business relationship here. They're looking to draw customers into their place. So and those are the two key things: is customer support marketing. Outdoor marketing is really one of the best things you can do. When I'm looking for a location, if the landlords, you can't put anything outside here. I'm not even interested in that location anymore because I'm just leaving money on the table.
Sometimes it's not his, sometimes there's city ordinances and you're literally not allowed to do that kind of stuff. But that really hurts us. And we haven't, I've yet to find a location where we couldn't advertise like that, where we did really, really well. There's just.
So,
no, we don't. So somebody's asking here, do we supply the marketing? No, we don't, but we can give you where we get the stuff from, and our other operators get it from, and we can provide you with some templates and stuff so you can get it yourself. But we don't sell that.
Yeah, and our support platform and our support team, they can refer to you where to get the printer paper. The printer paper that I like to use is actually the bigger stuff. It's a bigger roll because it'll last an entire year. Reason being is you don't want to be, if it's a busy location, you don't want to have to go back there every month because you're running out of printing paper. So if you can get a bigger roll, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. But when you're considering what is your time worth and your fuel to go replace printer paper. Now that's not something that is typically an issue where you have to go back every month. But I like to know that chances are that I'm not going to run out of any printer paper anytime soon, because it does suck when a customer calls and they're like, I need my receipt, and didn't print it, and it's because I didn't have enough printer paper in there.
Although it does email and text message them as well, so they can get their receipt. Yeah, no, you don't want the machine not to have paper. That's silly. But it happens all the time for sure. Like, you just don't think about it. You don't open it up and look at it every time you empty the cache, and the armored car service won't do it for you. So if you have to have some kind of maintenance to go out there.
This question is for you, EMZ. If someone is looking to start an operation, where would they start?
So they would basically start by getting in touch by leaving a comment on a website that would assign them with a salesperson. That would be either me, Keith, or Mike, who is a other salesperson who's not in this call. And then they would be basically hand holding and guiding them with the entire sales process. So that would start with like issuing of the invoice. That would be the first part. Then after the invoice has been paid, getting in touch with the compliance law firm, getting all the papers and ready. So while they wait for all the compliance things to happen, they'll end up receiving the machine in a 1 month time, and then just starting up with the commencing with their operations. Yeah. So just leave the message on the website, or you would be already in touch with one of the sales agent. Leave an email, and they would definitely get back to you.
Thank you very much. Now, this next
We
question.
do have. Yeah, he asked if you should build notifications in the dashboard. The paper's like, we do, but people ignore them. Even though the notifications there, we do. And you can email yourself, and I can text message you, and you can do all the different kinds of notifications and everything else. But they still manage to run out of paper.
So in the back office, so let's talk about the back office software. So I place the machine, you install the software, and connect the machine to the back office software where I can control it from. Is that all correct?
Yes.
Okay. What can I do in the back office? Like see the cache, control operation, etc.
Cache, see performance numbers, see your customers, all your AML, KYC. You can set up automatic payments. You can look at the machine, look at the CPU. Like we have all sorts of metrics on the machine, the health of the machine, how much cache is in the machine, how much cache is in the recycler, how much is of it. Oh my God, I don't know. There's a list. I'm sure we have a list on our website. There's so many features in that thing. I'd have to go through. There's a lot of stuff that it does, but it is a very simple interface as well. So you don't have to use all those features. Once you get it up and running, you're going to be doing pretty much the same thing, coming in, looking at all your machines, looking at your cache, doing the same stuff. Different people with different roles in your company will be coming in there and using different pieces. Like the compliance officer he'll be doing something completely different. But
it's got a whole bunch of reports too, which is really cool. It's got charts so you can see how business is doing. There's a lot of cool features in there. When it comes to dashboard, is this like a one-stop shop for all things, or do I need additional systems?
One-stop shop. The only thing you'd want to consider is forensic tools on the back end that some people utilize to track the transaction. So for anti-money laundering, that would be a subscription service. Again, there's lots of ways to do that, but if you wanted to automate that and have it do some of that, you can do that.
So you can set up your own KYC and like your own limits depending upon what your compliance
Well, you can do
program
that. That's
is,
all
where
built
you
in.
are.
Yeah, all of that is built in. What's not built in is chain analysis and the forensic tools on the back end that some people want to use. Those you got to pay those guys for that service, and then you can hook it in and use it. Some people find them useful. Some of them, some,
Yeah, and I'd like to.
that's up to you. You don't need to. Yeah.
This software is really easy to use. So it's it's easy for your customers to use. When we engineered the front end, when the customers are buying and selling their Bitcoin, the more steps in the process that gets them through the entire process, the more complicated it gets. So we engineered it to make it as simple as possible so they can get through the process of getting their Bitcoin. And that captures a higher rate of customers coming and buying and selling their Bitcoin. Well, the same applies on the back end. We don't want to overcomplicate it for you either, so we made things real simple back there. Why? Because Eric started this business because he wanted it easier for himself, and he didn't see it as a reason like hey, I'm gonna I want to make it more complicated for myself, so it's actually engineered so it's easier for him. And so it is easier for him, it's easier for you. And if you've got any suggestions, anything that ever comes up as one of our customers, you let us know. It's a great idea. We'll add it. That's one thing that we're always open to.
Yeah, we have a roadmap, and to what Keith's point, so that we eat our own dog food. We're operators too, so we operate machines. So a lot of times, just the routes, like the picking up the logistics of the cash and where the cash is, and sort of that workflow, and all of these things that aren't directly related to running the machine, but your business it's gonna help your business and create the safety features that you're gonna need in your business to be able to run that, because you are in a cash business, so you need to know where that money is in that process, because you're turning back in Bitcoin, coming back through. So you really need a workflow, and there's a built-in workflow system in here as well that you can customize
So
and build up.
I have another audience question here. This question is about Bitcoin. Says, I'm new to all this and very interested in learning as much as possible. Can you lend some clarity to the owning of the Bitcoin prior to setting up an ATM Bitcoin machine? Do I need to buy and own my own Bitcoin as well as buying the ATM?
Yes. But you should, because you should understand Bitcoin as you're getting into this business. But do you need it ahead of time? No, you can set it up when you get your hot wallet and you get the machine set up. You can put your you can put it all in there. But I would do it early on just to know here's how Bitcoin works. If you don't already own it, you don't know what it's like to send it from one wallet to another. You're going to have to learn all those things. And we've got tons of support documents and things like that. And when you're helping customers, they're not going to know how to do those things either. So you're going to need to, there's scripts, there's things to help you with those customers, but early on, that's probably going to help you more than them, just to, hey, this is how this works. And,
yeah, and your first six months in this business, like any other business, you're learning. So you're going to be talking to our support team a lot, asking questions, and we got the answers. But as that 6 month after that 6 months, it starts you get in the flow of things. You want to start out right away, just diving into it. So getting some Bitcoin and learning how to send and receive Bitcoin, that's pretty key. And that's why one of the things we offer is a 2% discount on the machines and shipping if you pay us in Bitcoin. Why? Because you're getting experience right off the bat of how the whole process of buying and sending Bitcoin is and using it. And then you understand right off the bat, hey, my first time was doing it was actually buying a Bitcoin ATM. So I always highly recommend people do that, because that's how you get baptized in this business.
and if you do run into trouble inside the dashboard, Zendesk is integrated into there, so you can search on all our FAQs. You can contact our support and open a ticket and say, I don't understand this. I need help, and we're happy to help you. Like you said, it's early on, like that. For the first couple of times you do these things, it's like, what? This doesn't mean, but after you do them, it's like you're now. Then you're asking us, hey, can it do this? You're like, yeah, here, do this, and you know how things work. Now you're just looking for those improvements in your processes in your business just to streamline it. And if like he said, if we haven't already put it in there, I would be surprised. Like, let us know. We're happy to listen.
So Amzi, to elaborate on the process of getting started after. So let's say a customer contacts you, you explain to them how the Bitcoin
Yeah.
ATM business works, and you get a quote to them. They pay the quote. Then what
Yeah.
happens?
Then post paying the quote, we'll put you in touch with the law firm. So you would get ready with your compliance setup and everything. You'll get contacted by someone from the law firm that we put you in touch with. You'll be paying their invoice and everything, and they'll start with your MSP license. The next thing would be setting up your email KYC policy and everything. And all of this roughly takes around a month time. So in that month time, what is going to happen is you are going to receive your machine. Hopefully you'll have everything set it up, and then there would be a couple of things that would be remaining. One would be setting up your business account, and second would be opening up your bank account. So first bank account, then your business account with one of the exchanges, putting all the keys together into the machine, and then just commencing with your business. So these are very straightforward step, one after the other, and it would take around a month from zero to like getting started in a month, and then you just basically commence from that.
I mean, a checklist to help you because
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a lot of stuff, but it's, yeah, do it
yeah,
in order.
yeah,
Don't go try to get the bank account before you get your compliance program.
yeah,
Don't go tracking and ask them for a Bitcoin ATM account without a
yeah.
compliant. Don't do those things because you're
So
gonna hurt yourself. It'll be harder for
So
you.
building on on what Eric said, like we have loads of customers who want to go to the bank, open a bank account before even a compliance or getting the machine, and they get rejected by the bank all the time because they are not going to entertain you. You need to have your compliance policy papers. You need to show them how you're building the anti-money laundering, how you're doing your KYC on the machine. And when you go with all of this information, then the bank has the confidence that yes, they know what you're doing. So you have a higher probability of getting your bank account compared to just walking in the account just like that with nothing in your hands. And we get this complaint all the time, and we just keep on telling the same thing over and over again.
Well, people underestimate, like, I think people maybe now are realizing how hard it is. Like, you can't just get a bank account. You don't just walk in and say, hey, I want to open a bank account. That's not how it works here anymore. And so, people aren't aware of that. They just like, oh yeah, I'll open a bank account. Maybe.
So, about blocking, can you block customers? Let's say they
Yeah.
become a problem for you, or maybe they're a criminal or somebody. Do you have the ability to block them?
Yeah, we have different ways of blocking them. We have had definitely done that in the past. So, yes, definitely able to block customers.
Now,
Block wallets as well. Once a wallet, so like I was saying before, when wallets are identified as scams, that goes into the system as well, and it'll automatically block that. And we've saved customers from that, where they scam like 5 people, and they're all coming to machines. And so over the next couple of days, you see them show up, but that wallet is the trigger. Like immediately, they're getting scammed. So but most scammers are sophisticated enough not to use those wallets over and over. But yeah,
so and
yeah,
this
just keep playing back and forth. We provide tools, they get better. We provide tools, they get better. You get better. And so
this next question is about software security. We already went over the actual hardware security in the box and everything. So software security, you recently attended a hacker conference, did you not? And what were the findings of that hacker conference? You brought a Bitcoin ATM, correct?
yep. Yeah, they didn't get into it. They were surprised. Everything was encrypted. And I tried to warn them. I said it's encrypted all the way from the recycler. The recycler actually encrypts the message that we receive, so we have to decrypt that, and we just kind of pass that along through the whole process. So, and then yeah, everything was encrypted. They didn't. They thought if they had more time, they could do more. And I had given them root access. I'd let them actually have open access to everything in the system at the physical location, and yeah. So we were very happy to hear that. If they had a few days, yeah, I think eventually we'd have some problems in the machine. But again, the machine can be compromised, but it had already flagged them like that something's wrong with that machine, and so at that point it cuts it off. So there's nothing they can do at the machine anyway. There's not like they're in some special network. So okay, we treat every machine as a hostile machine, and I won't get too deep into that stuff,
Yeah.
but we treat them as hostile machines unless proven otherwise. And if something starts happening, when they're monkeying around in there, boom, it got flagged. And so we had to keep resetting it because there's honeypots in there that are going to trigger that stuff. So
And
we'll see. They're going to try. They're going to try again. We're going to give them unlimited time and unlimited access and see what they can do, and really let them do that. But it was good. They couldn't get anything.
so got another audience question here. Would it be prudent to set up a Bitcoin ATM business within or under an LLC? We And I'll just answer that real quick. We can't give any legal advice, any accounting advice. We're not accountants, we're not lawyers. So you want to do your own research, how you want to set up your own business, and everybody's business can be
I can
different.
tell you, I set up I have a subchapter S LLC that I operate a Bitcoin ATM business under as in an MSB. So the only, again, we don't give legal advice. I'm just telling you what I did.
And no, I don't talk about our competition.
Is that a hacking comment?
Yeah. What? All right. So this is under fleet. So this is for you, Amzi.
Yeah.
What if I already have a fleet of machines? Can I switch to your software? And what what type of hardware do you guys support?
Absolutely. So that's a very good question. I was just going to come with the answer. Like, it really depends on the hardware. So we support the hardware which is basically mentioned on our website, which are very close in specification to the machines that we have. The reason why we don't touch other hardware is that they can be issues. They could be security labs or anything that could be baked in the machine. So we have to be careful. But apart from that, we support hardware which are very close to a machine. So that's the machine that we do. So it really depends on one-to-one basis. You should definitely get in touch with one of our sales team with your hardware specifications and the location of the machine so that we can evaluate the case with our technical team and then get back to you with the answer.
Yeah, and in most cases, our software will work on a machine, but like most Gen Megas out there, most of the models are similar to us. Windows-based systems, our software can work, but it depends upon what's inside the hardware. We're not going to sit there and customize our software specific for some cheap hardware that we've never even heard of before. So after I switched my old fleet and new fleet would would all report to the dashboard we spoke about earlier about I'm not quite sure what that question is. So I'm going to skip over that one. Do you have pricing for the switch of the fleet, or is it based on the fleet size?
Fleet
Yeah.
size, definitely, Keith. It depends on the fleet size. We again, like
You have
switching to the
an
software.
operational business. We
Yeah.
want to talk to you because we're more interested in the long-term relationship than getting money up front. So talk to us. We're interested.
Do you offer live support? Can we reach you via phone? What are your open hours for phone support?
Um, we have 24-hour support in the app. We have they can call, leave messages. Physical people there. I think we have weekends now, so we're seven. Oh man, I should know these hours.
Yeah.
We're open
So Eric, they're 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So the office hours are standard Eastern time, nine
but
to
they're
five.
working on the weekends. But they're not answering,
Yeah.
and they're answering the phones on the weekend too.
Yeah. On the weekend, it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern time. Yeah.
Eric never calls customer support. That's why he doesn't know. Customer support calls him.
Yeah.
I just know they're around on the weekend.
All right.
It's 7 days a week, so that's good. Awesome.
And so we got a marketing question here. Google, what's changed there when we see Bitcoin ATMs got their own category now?
Are you asking me what happened with Google? I don't know. Those guys are all over the place. Sometimes they banned us for a while. We weren't even allowed to advertise on them. Then they're like, yeah, you can advertise them, but you got to do this, and then all these things. So, where are they right now? I don't know. It depends. Like we haven't had an issue with them. We did have issues with them getting locations put on there, and their new system didn't work. But if you have an MSB and you have all that stuff, you can advertise with them. So they do have a criteria for doing it. They do allow it. I don't know if that answers your question, but subject to
Yeah.
change.
So
God knows what they do next week.
what about advertising on like TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Twitter, I think you can. Yeah, I don't know. They change so often. TikTok, I don't think you can. Google, you can with an MSB license. You got to go down the list. Everybody has a set of rules.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to want to do your research there. I do know that when it comes to dollars spent for clicks to your website, Twitter gives you the best dollars, click per dollar to your website. But you want to utilize these for your search engine optimization results. Okay, you want to be having videos and posts on all these platforms because that sends people back to your website, which helps you get your locations out there on the internet. That ties into Coin ATM radar. You want to be putting tweets out. You want we video all of our locations. They're titled with the location name. So then when people are actually looking for Bitcoin ATMs, it's popping up in the search results. So we're not actually paying for the advertising. We're just getting higher in the search results. And anybody can do this. But it's important. You should have a basic website, at least, that people can find you, know that you sell Bitcoin, not that you're, Mickey Mouse ATM company, but you're a Bitcoin ATM company in town that they can find, because people are looking for Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important that you appear professional. Like, you need to have things in order. You need to have certain social media pages. You need to have your website, a basic
Listen,
landing
if you're
page.
going to register, you're going to register with FinCEN, you might as well put your FinCEN registration number up on your website as well to show them like, look, I'm registered with the government. Where, and if you have your state one, you can put that on there, and that gives you credibility as well.
Yeah.
I believe, isn't that required?
No,
Oh, it's not.
no, people just do it to look professional.
I'm pretty sure it is required though. If you're in a Bitcoin ATM business,
Required
you
to
have
put on
have
your
that.
website? You're not even required to have a website. Why would you be required to put something on your website?
If you have a website, all right.
I don't think so, but oh yeah. I mean, you should
Well,
do
an
it.
operator told me
It's
that,
not
and they
wrong.
don't always know what's going on. That could have been what their lawyer told them, just to make them, cover their rear end, and
Oh,
that's
for
what the lawyer's
liability.
going to
Yeah.
do.
Not giving legal advice. I'm just saying
Yep.
I don't think there's a law making you do it, but you should do it.
Yeah.
Now there's some things here with marketing, right? When it comes to the ads and stuff, we've tried some things and they've not worked. Where they have worked in other businesses that I've been in, such as door hangers. I've used that in other businesses, and I usually saw anywhere from like a 2 to 5%, return. Like, so if I hung out 1,000, flyer or 100 flyers out there, I would get like 2 to 5 people that would use the flyer. That doesn't really work with Bitcoin ATMs for whatever reason. We tried it. We got 0 hits, and
And
we
we were
hit a
just
lot
giving
of.
away we were
Yeah,
giving away Bitcoin too. All they had to do is come to the machine. They didn't have to buy anything. They could just redeem it. And they weren't even doing that. So that
but
was
it could have been a number of things. $5 worth of Bitcoin used to be a lot of money 5 years ago. $5 today, I probably wouldn't. I have a bad back. If I saw it on the ground, I wouldn't bend over and pick it up. So like that's kind of, times change. But when it comes to offering vouchers on the machines, there's a lot of different vouchers that you can do. You can do things like, that's an idea right there. But let's say there's a farmer's market and you've got a booth there and you got your machine, and maybe somebody's a little nervous about using the machine in front of everybody. Say, hey, look, we've got a machine over here and here and here in town. You can get some free Bitcoin. You can try it out on your own time, and then nobody will be watching you. Then you can actually give them a voucher. So there's a lot of different ways of going about it.
actually what Keith is really describing is the barrier for people using the machine is fear, just like anything, using something new. And so what we found is giving away Bitcoin and things like that. Not in the case this one didn't work, but in general, when we give them Bitcoin at the machine, they're now comfortable coming back to that machine and using that machine, and they won't go anywhere else. And once they start using your machine, as long as you don't have any issues, that's it. They're not going to go figure out yet another machine, especially if you've used some of our competitors' machines. They're not as easy to use. You've captured that customer and provide good customer service, and you won't lose them.
So do we have any more questions here from the audience? You might have one coming in.
We've been here for an hour, so I think we can wind this down. Is there anything we haven't covered that we should have covered? We've done this a lot, so I'm not sure I missed something.
I think we've basically covered it all. I'm waiting here. Somebody's typing. If I buy the machine with a top screen today, can I get it in 30 days? Typically, it takes about
Yes.
30 days for the top screen. Now
The only problem is during holidays and there's certain disruptive times of the year, but we're good for another 4 months or so.
Yeah, you definitely want to get it before the end of the year. And then there's no delays. Usually we start seeing a couple delays in early February and late January. But other than that, it's 30 days. And I guess that's it. We can wrap it up. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending our webinar today. If you got any questions, reach out to either Amzi or myself. You can reach us out on the website. You can jump in our live chat there. That's usually, I think it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. that it's on. You can shoot us an email, or you can give us a phone call. You can leave us a message. You can reach out to our social platforms. However you want to reach out to us, we're here. We're pretty public, and we'll get back to you. So thank you very much. Do you guys have anything else to say?
That's it. You just said it.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you.
ChainBytes.com. 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 All right. See you guys.
See you.